Hi guys, this is Garesh Gamer, um, bringing to you my first video. I'll be doing a review of Satellite Rain. It was made in 2015 and basically it's an isometric top-down game. You basically run around in a dystopian future, um, trying to hack and gain top secret research project that ultimately will lead you to the end. It has the same feel as things like Blade Runner or War Logs. Um, Sometimes it even reminds me of Shadowrun, minus the magic, of course. I do like Satellite Rain. Although I might be talking a little bit more of the cons rather than the pros of it, it is actually quite a good game. I do like it. As you can see, you can go in either single player or multiplayer. I've already finished and clocked it, and I have to admit, it confused me. You see, the game itself is quite good, but there's a ton of backstory that they never actually um, check out here. They never actually shown or they never actually discussed, unfortunately. So as you can see, the actual environment itself is absolutely beautiful. The makers have really done quite a lot. You can actually zoom in into any of them and actually see some of the things that they're doing, which is quite fantastic. To be truthful, I mean, mind you, some of them can be quite repetitive. As you can see, it's the same as that guy there. But otherwise, it's actually quite good. You can zoom in, move around, but my only gripe with this actual game is you can't actually see your character unless they actually go down. Like you can't see how they are, you can't really zoom into them or change the angle of the camera towards them. But otherwise, it's actually quite good. You do get four people, as you can see. Each one has their own special trait, like with any, I guess, RPGs. You have the heavies, the hacker, infiltrator, which is basically your rogue. These two, you can say that they're the rogue. There's the support, which is your heavies, tankers, and the soldier is basically your all-around type. Um, One thing I really didn't like about this game is its tutorial. It's actually alright for a tutorial, except that you do have to read quite a lot, and by the time you're finished there, it's almost you're tired to actually go for another one. Um, it has several ways that you can actually, check out for. You can either disable things or disable the generators. There's more than one way to actually tackle to get into said mega corporations. The mini map alone is actually quite invaluable in trying to scope out the place and trying to see where you are at the moment, not to mention showing where your enemies are. Um, what I found with this game is it's really quite thorough if you have the time to actually read the entire things with mission control, and that's a pro for it. It breaks it down and it's open world enough that you can actually have multiple quests going on together. What I didn't like about the game, however, is it can get repetitive. Even though it's cut into four sections, each section is basically the same. You have one part here, like in this part, this is going to be the Trinity Station, which is the Eternals one. So you have one compound which has basically a huge amount of those enemies there, and you can get on any one of these three and still be able to get through the game quite quickly. Um, it's pretty much almost the same mission over and over again. You have to get into and break into any of these three, get the actual report, do the report, and then that's pretty much it. That's one thing finished already. Um, what I found with games like these are the relay beacons. I find them really quite useful, but again, you can't use them. You only have certain criteria that you have to be sure of before you can use them. It can become quite tedious at times, but all in all, I think it's an all right game. Um, Research with any games and all of that, your money is the one that drives your research. So if you have enough money, you can hire more of outsourced kind of staff, and you can get more of them. But again, the less money you have, and for you to actually get that much, unfortunately, I have to admit I did cheat, um, because tell you what, to actually get that much, you will die over and over again, and you will have to grind this thing just to get through. Um, the loadout is pretty much the most interesting one I find, because then you can. This is where you can actually see all of your characters, I guess all of the assets and all of that. What I find with this game, I find it really quite good that um, even though you start off as either a male or female one, it's up to you to basically stay in that same gender. You can keep changing and using the clone function, and basically hacking one of the people that you saw earlier, and basically using their body to change them. Each clone will have their own stats that can either increase or decrease your abilities, but it's up to you really, and it's how you play it. The only thing you can change is the headgear, which look, some of them are you don't get, some of them you do, which is a huge shame, because sometimes I would want that with somebody like this one. I mean, yeah, see, this one doesn't even have any. Nope, not a thing. Yeah, and I guess if they ever make another one, I would like them to actually give you the ability to actually dress up your character, because you're kind of stuck with what you have here, and unless you actually catch one of the clones that actually have a good headgear, you're pretty much stuck. Um, And what I never got is why they never actually let you wear the actual armors of the enemies. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is freaking fantastic. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, they don't let you do that, which is a huge shame. Um, and in the weapons, look, with anything else, you start off with really bad weapons, and then as more you research, you get better weapons. What I found though with these weapons are, even if they are the most top of the line, most powerful ones, it still does not do much for the enemy. And what I'm saying here is, look, we can have the Tesla cannon for this guy, and um, another. Oh, let's go with the plasma cannon. Like, let's give this guys really powerful cannons. But at the end of the day, I can tell you now, it doesn't do anything, and in fact, it might even make things worse for your person. What I mean by this is, let's have a look. Go here, target that, and shoot it. Okay, by the way, you do have to change the loadout here. Da, 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 dum. And there you go. Come on, shoot, 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 shoot. The game itself can be quite unforgiving. As you can see, look, I mean, that's just one of the super weapons, and basically, if you're not careful, you can actually end up killing your people rather than saving them. Um, what I also didn't like about the game itself is that the AI can be quite unfair on you, and if you're not careful, you can actually get them swarming all over you. The only good thing about this game, though, when it comes to that, is if you ever end up like that one, you have the big mechas that come. You can actually get the basically the enemies to fight one another. And basically, the trick with that one is trying to make sure that you can, well, one, survive, and two, get them to trespass. And basically, that's it. You get them to trespass, and they start fighting one another, and yeah. Let's just go on to cover while they start fighting one another. Like, I mean, they're quite in. Okay, here we go. And they start fighting one another. I mean, it's actually quite good because then you can actually just kind of leave the people and then they'll just start attacking one another and just leave it as that. I guess that's one of the good things about this game is that there are ways to escape, but at the same time, I mean, you really have to figure out and be very, very careful with how you work with things. Otherwise, you can end up in a space where, like here, we're kind of stuck here now, and unless we're actually quite good enough, see, look at that. That's what I'm saying. It's like you get really good weapons, but if an environment attacks you, it just destroys the entire lot, and then you're kind of stuck again doing. Come on, come on. You're kind of stuck there, and basically you have no ability whatsoever to actually fix things. But otherwise, I mean, this is a good game. If you're more into trying to role play and all of that, I would actually suggest other games because this one's good enough. I wouldn't say it's the best or anything, but it is good enough. It's enough to actually, you know, it's enough for you to play 21 hours worth of gaming. It certainly has did it for me, but at the same time, you know, kind of became tedious near the end. And if you really want to try and what do you call that? If you really want to try and finish all the achievements, it gets worse. The entire thing itself actually takes a long time to do, and as I said, it can get really quite tedious quite quickly. You just have to be very careful, very patient, and you know, you just really have to make sure that when you're doing it, think of where your surroundings are, think of how you're going. All in all, I would probably give this, I don't know, probably about 6 or 7 out of 10. It is a fun game. I haven't tried the multiplayer. I try not to play multiplayer. Not very good at playing in a team. I'd rather play by myself. But yeah, it really is up to you if you want to play and see how you go with this. I really strongly suggest trying to read the tutorials and even trying to read the backstory before you continue, because it is a good story. It's just it takes a very, very long time to actually get a grasp on things and really see what you do in the world while you're there. Alrighty, I guess if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps. Till next time, I'll be doing another video on the trainers and all of that, and also review on other games. Alright, from this on forward, this is Garesh Gamer. Till next time.